to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me.
So glad to be here in the studios of Unity 93.3 FM and TV. Beatrice Adamu E. G is my name, anchor of Unity Train this lovely Tuesday morning, the 17th of October 2023. And in the studio this morning I have Mr. Shoaib Buduru, an in-house analyst and political scientist. He's with me, and so he's going to say a very good morning to you, our listener and our viewer this morning. If you don't mind, just stay tuned. Duro.
Thank you, Kubi. Good morning, viewer and listener. Thank you for staying tuned as usual. We look forward to a beautiful and very rich interaction as usual.
Oh, again and again, you know what we do here. Of course, you cannot talk of the issue of sustainable human development, economic growth, without getting to talk about peaceful coexistence, because these are intertwined. And so, do your best to live in peace with your neighbor, and just when you do that, you will not regret you did. And so, stay in peace. Thank you so much. So the discussion continues. This first segment of Unity Trend is that the very time with which we get to look at issues that we have them trending on national dailies. Before we delve into the very headlines meant for today, I just want to talk about one of which has to do with you and my very own self. This one has to do with a 38-year ago, a Frenchman visiting Ivory Coast just so to get to see an old woman who took care of him 38 years back, just so to show appreciations for, standing with him. Now, bringing the story at a time as this is for us to learn the lessons that this has. What goes around, people believe that it comes around. And so if that woman was not good to him, he would not get looking, come looking for her after 38 years in this life. And so you see, so please, your Frenchman might be not a very, that neighbor that you look at him or her, yes, as irrelevant as someone who will not make it in life. That may be your Frenchman. And I'm sure you would want to say something to our listener and our viewer from these, because it's something we have to learn lessons from.
Well, the woman was actually, his, should we say, his parents' maid, when they actually served in Africa. Is it in Kenya, one of the African countries? She was actually, his parents' housemaid, when he was a kid. Years later, they actually had to leave Africa. But then, of course, one thing led to another. Many things actually happened along the line. But then the man eventually became very successful, and all of that. And then he thought that, having been taken care of by this particular woman, this particular African woman, it's actually time to actually go back to her and then, find an opportunity to say thank you.
To extend some,
that's it. Yeah, and
to
that was
reciprocate some good gestures.
What happened. And so, like you said, to have been able to remember, a woman who, took care of you at childhood after 38 years, I think it can only be, it's quite rare, isn't it? It's something that actually hardly happens. And if you look at, the world in which we live, that is actually punctuated by lots of ingratitude and things like that. You ordinarily wouldn't even expect such a thing to happen. But to have been able to come back 38 years later to actually say thank you to the woman who actually served him at childhood and things like that, I think it can't actually be better than that. Nothing can be more human. And that is why I think we keep encouraging, the little efforts people make, the little sacrifices people make for you. And I keep saying, this whole concept of life, is predicated on the symbiotic relationship we share. Yes. You understand, without the shoemaker, without the shoe cobbler in your area, without the water vendor in your area, without the poor trader in your area, you also can't survive. You discover that one way or another, that young man, that young woman, that trader, that shoe cobbler, that shopkeeper, that security guard,
that laborer,
everyone is playing a role in everybody's life. I think that is the whole thing. So I think I will give it to this, French young man, and then we also congratulate the woman. I mean, her story is no longer going to be the same.
Yes, at this old age,
yeah, definitely,
she's going to be, be paying bills, and so thank you so much. I just pray that we'll be all out to make sure we live lives being very good to people around us, because it's surely going to come back haunting us, either for good or for bad. But before we continue with the next headline, I just want to let you know, our viewer and our listener, that our guest for the next segment is already seated, and he's a honorable member representing the good people of Erigwe-Rukuba constituency in the Plateau State House. He is the Honorable Ibrahim Dukucheli Agbalak. He is seated. If you don't mind, at this point, he will just say good morning, and after which we continue with the men's segment deals. Good morning, Honorable.
Thank you for having me, and good morning, Plateau. Good morning, Doro.
Yes,
thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable, this is not his first time being here, and in fact, I must confess that I'm so proud to have him all the time. When there is a call, sometimes he would even call himself, so that he will be able to say one or two things to his people. I think I love this. I must comment. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you very much. In the meantime, you might not hear so much from him, much more, but much more later. He will be the one to lead us on the topic that we'll discuss later on. And so at this time, Doro, turning back to you. So let's just have it on our national daily. This one is from Daily Trust. It says, as APC, PDP, Labour Party protest interference, the cases in 19 northern states moved to Abuja. Appeal cases in 17 southern states moved to Lagos. Appeal, some moving to one side and some to the other. So it's still going on. So what do we have in here?
Yeah, well, Justice Monica Dongbam Mensem, who is the president of the Court of Appeal, has actually decided to move all, appellate cases, from the 20 divisions of the appeal court, scattered in different parts of the country, to the FCT and to Abuja. That's the story, in short. But of course, like you and I know, appeal cases have already, started being heard, by, the Court of Appeal. And of course, that is a consequence of the, judgment delivered just a few months ago, or probably a few weeks ago, by, elections petitions tribunals, scattered in parts of the country, which actually delivered judgments that went in favor or in disfavor, of certain people across political parties and things like. In places where judgment went against APC candidates, the PDP and other parties actually protested, challenged the judgment and things like that. And then in places where judgment went against, the APC, the APC, of course, in places where judgment went against the PDP, in favor of the PDP, APC candidates also actually challenged, the judgments and things like that. So you see that there are protests across party lines and yes, all of that. This is an issue. So there are states where, PDP candidates are challenging judgment. There are states where APC candidates are challenging judgment. There are states where Labour Party candidates are challenging judgments and things like that. And first of all, let me say that that is always, the way to go. Could be. We've always said that, in every contest there will always be a winner and a loser and things like that. But as far as democracy is concerned, nothing has been left to chance. If you feel that the processes that probably brought somebody on board are not free or fair or transparent, you are at liberty to explore available legal options to actually channel your grievances and things like that. And I think that is exactly what these political actors have actually done, rather than causing rancor here and there. This is the issue, But then again, like I did say, Justice Monica, Mensem, the president of the Court of Appeal, actually decided to transfer all appellate cases to the Abuja and FCT divisions of the High Court, for hearing, determination, and subsequent judgments and things like that. And that actually, the decision is informed by allegations of unholy alliances between, you know, certain judges, certain judges presiding over certain cases, you know, as well as chief executives in some states, you know, and things like that. So all cases, you know, having to do with, you know, state assemblies, national assemblies, and then of course governorship and all of that have been transferred to Abuja, you know, and Lagos. Now the implication of that is that you know, the other 18, you know, appeal courts scattered in different parts of the country will no longer be responsible, you know, for hearing any appellate cases as far as, you know, this particular, you know, a moment is concerned. You understand? Only Abuja and only the Abuja and the Lagos divisions will be responsible for hearing appellate cases and things like that. We also do understand that you know, cases emanating from, you know, judgments delivered in the 17 states of in the southern part of the country will actually be transferred or have actually been transferred, you know, to the Lagos division of the appeal court, right? And then cases emanating from judgments delivered in the 19 states of northern Nigeria will be heard in or have been transferred to, you know, the Abuja division of the High Court. And according to Justice Monica, you know, Dongbam Mensah, President of the Court of Appeal, you know, the idea is to actually give, you know, make it possible for, you know, the Court of Appeal, you know, as an institution to be able to closely monitor, you know, or supervise the conduct of the judges in order to perhaps, you know, safeguard, you know, the transparency and integrity of the appeal processes, number one, and then number two, to also be able to, you know, guard against, you know, possible unethical, you know, conduct on the part of, you know, judges who, you know, might be susceptible to compromises and things like that. Because, like I did say, you know, after, you know, judgments were delivered across the states, you know, and things like that, you know, there were allegations on the part of political parties, the PDP, the APC, the Labour Party, that, you know, certain chief executives actually, you know, went, you know, extra mile to sort of, you know, compromise judicial processes in their favor and things like that. And of course, we do understand that the Court of Appeal has set up, you know, an investigative panel to, you know, investigate or probably ascertain the veracity of these claims, and then see if, you know, anybody will be found culpable, and then be, you know, be brought to justice and things like that. At the end of the day, I think we could say that it's a step in the right direction, because at the end of the day, I think this whole concept of democracy only thrives on transparency and integrity of the judicial process. This is the issue, you know, and I think one of the things that might actually have undermined or, you know, impeded our democratic progress as a people, I think, is the fact that you know, the masses themselves, the citizenry, seems to have actually lost confidence, I think, in the entire, you know, in the entire system. A situation where people go out to line up under, you know, the scorching sun, sometimes get soaked in the rain and things like that, to actually bring on board a certain candidate whom they believe, you know, has the moral and intellectual wherewithal to be able to address their problem and things like that. I mean, if at the end of the day, you know, we vote for a particular person and only for us to hear that a different person, you know, is declared winner, I think we will even naturally lose confidence in the system and I think that is what has accounted for the apathy, you know, the apathy that has characterized the political space, you know, and things like that. But at the end of the day, it all depends on the integrity of the judicial process, right? You know, the judiciary will always decide, okay, yeah, this person was cheated, right? And so let's give him back his mandate. This person was cheated, let's give him back his mandate. That is also why you can see that, you know, there are always, you know, available, I mean, there are always multiple, you know, channels, you know, made available for, I mean, for individuals to channel their grievances and things like that. If the court of first instance rules against you, you can go higher. And we have seen instances where cases have been upturned at the appellate level or at the Supreme Court level and things like that. You know, this is the issue. And so I think that if the idea behind transferring these cases to the Abuja and, you know, Lagos divisions of the High Court is to actually guarantee the integrity and transparency of the, you know, appeal processes, I think we could say that, you know, it's commendable and a very good step, and of course in the right direction. I do understand that lawyers have actually lamented, you know, possible challenges, you know, resulting from proximity, right? Because it actually means that
Yes,
you know, you're going to have to mobilize your few supporters to Abuja and Lagos, which might be, you know, might actually pose some, you know, challenges in terms of movement and things like that. If it was going to be heard in Jos or in Bauchi, it will be easy for you to, you know, mobilize your supporters to attend the hearing and things like that. But then again, like some lawyers have said, no amount of sacrifice is too much, you know, as far as ensuring the integrity, you know, of the judicial process is concerned. And so we look forward to what comes out of this.
Doro, we have just but a little time to go on this segment, so we'll just pick up the next headline. This one is coming from The Nation, and it says, Federal government proposed 26 trillion for 2024. Now, this one is coming, well, maybe we'll just go some 5 minutes down there.
Yeah, well, I don't know how this is going to happen, you know, because to be fair, I have lots of reservations as far as the Tinubu government is concerned. And I feel that, yeah, there might be some, you know, moves he has made that we could say strategically are in place. But there are also decisions he has taken that, for me, are not really, you know, going to, you know, not necessarily likely to translate into tangibles, you know, as far as the renewed hope agenda is concerned and things like that. You know, subsidy removal and other decisions, well, we will not be going to be discussing that at this moment. But of course, you know, proposing 26 trillion, you know, as you know, next year's budget is something that I feel could actually be said to be quite commendable, if only it would be achievable. But it remains to be seen if that would be realizable, you know, and all of that. You know, this is the issue. For me, it could be, sometimes it's not how much money you have, you know, as budget proposal, you know, as estimated budget. It's how much you're able to actually implement the budget, yeah, and things like that. And I think that, you know, going down memory lane, or historically speaking, I do know that, you know, most times, you know, in fact, since 1999 till date, Nigeria's budgetary performance has hardly exceeded 46%. Which is below average, right? What I'm saying is that there has never been any point in time where Nigeria's budgetary performance, or you know, has actually exceeded, you know, 46 or 50%. This is the issue, and that is also why you can see that you know, most times, you know, we've only ended up actually making propositions, making proposals, you know, making citizens believe things were going to turn around for good and things like that, only for us to end up discovering there's simply nothing to show. This is the issue. So, you know, the Tinubu government is proposing 26 trillion as 2024 budget. This is the issue. Depending, of course, on, you know, $73.96 and exchange rate of $700. And then, of course, also depending on oil production of 1.78 million barrels per day. In other words, the, you know, proposed budget, 26 trillion, is actually based on these projections, on the projection that the country will be able to continue to produce 1.6 million, you know, barrels of oil per day, number one, and that, you know, exchange rate is going to remain, you know, exchange rate is going to remain $73.96, you know, and things like that. And then, of course, also on the projection that the GDP growth rate of is going to remain 3.76%. So if these, you know, indices are sustained, it then actually means it will be possible for the government to be able to realize as much as 26 trillion, you know, as next year's budget and things like that. Now, what is going to happen is that the government hopes to spend 1.6 trillion on statutory transfers, you know, monies that are going to be given to state governments and local governments and things like that. And then, of course, 10.26 trillion, you know, on recurrent expenditure. And then debt service is going to consume 8.25 trillion. And then, of course, you know, personnel and pension costs will cost 7.78 trillion. You know, and things like that. At the end of the day, this is what we have. But I think that, like I did say, it's not about how much you project. It's not about how much you hope to realize. It's about how much you're able to, you know, ensure that, you know, the budget is actually effectively implemented. And I think one of the problems we've had over time is the fact that sometimes, you know, budget implementation is not properly evaluated. You know, when you propose a certain amount as budget and then you implement it, I think there should be a mechanism for actually evaluating the implementation process. You know, this is the issue. For example, yeah, this was how much we had budgeted. Now, this is how much has actually been spent, but how much impact or, you know, result has been achieved as a result of the implementation. This is what I think we have not been able to do. This is the issue. And then number two, you know, sometimes there are issues of course, sharp or unethical practices on the part of the people who are supposed to see to the effective implementation, of budget and things like that. This is the issue. We do know that sometimes, there are allegations of unholy alliances or conspiratory tendencies between executive members, legislative members, and things like that. This is the issue. And so sometimes you discover that the people who ordinarily should be able to oversight, at the executive to ensure proper implementation of budgets end up actually compromising, certain responsibilities, and then, we end up actually performing, below expectation. These are some of the issues. So I feel these things need to be looked at. And then finally, it might just be time for, government to consider diversifying sources of income, because at the end of the day, like I have just mentioned, the proposition is actually predicated on, how much the country hopes to realize, from producing 1.6 million barrels of oil per day, and we don't know what's going to happen, because anything could actually happen given the uncertainties that can characterize economic conditions across the world and things. Nobody is sure that between now and then Nigeria will continue to generate what it is generating. Nobody is sure that Nigeria is going to continue to produce 1.6 million barrels of oil per day to be able to generate this much and things like that. So I think in case anything happens to oil, which is the country's major source of income, what is going to happen? It means that the government will actually not be able to realize what it looks forward to. So I think these are issues we need to look at going forward.
Away from that, now let's go to Vanguard, and this one says 5 persons jailed 60 years in Niger over possession of a human skull.
There's a lot of hunger and poverty, could be, isn't there? And that might just be why some of these things are happening. I think that is very, very inhumane, isn't it? I mean,
yes, it is. And
okay.
You want to blame it on hunger?
Well, I do, yeah. Partly,
you want to also bring that
partly
into a factor to consider, to see possibly it could be one of the reasons to have people thrown into doing such.
Yeah, it's even the major reason. But I think we could also talk about, deficit or, a drift in moral values. I don't see no amount of desperation should push a young man into such a dastardly act. I mean, a few days ago I watched on TV where some 3 young men were actually arrested by the police in one of the southwestern states on account of actually luring, killing a young lady and burning her head in a pot and things like that. And when the young men were actually interrogated, they confessed that they were actually guilty of the act, and that they were actually pushed by desperation and hunger and poverty and things like that. So they wanted to make money and all of that. And this is the issue. And in 2022, I'm also aware that there were some 3 young men that were also arrested in Ogun State, who also lured a certain young man to a particular place, and then killed the woman and burned her head in a pot in a bid to make rituals, do rituals and things like that. These are the issues. Now this particular story actually has it that about 5 persons, Ibrahim Jia, Suleiman Usman, Abdullahi Usman, Idris Mohammed, and Isa Mohammed, have actually been found guilty of actually well, this time around it's not killing and actually burning somebody's head. What actually happened is that the young man actually contacted a spiritualist in a bid to make money and things like that. And then the man told them that as a precondition they had to make available a human skull. And so they decided to go to a certain grave, you understand, dug a certain grave where a certain person was buried for 3 years, you understand, extracted the head and decided to take it to the herbalist, to complete the processes and things like that before they were eventually arrested by the police. This is what happened. And so the judge in one of the magistrate courts actually sentenced them to 12 years imprisonment each. That is what amounted to 60 years and things like that. And so I feel in a nutshell, I think we will need to see more of this. But then I must also say that sometimes like the HAUSA person will say Inga Kabita Barao Abita Mabisahu, if these young men are guilty, I think we should also because like the young man confessed, they actually were trying to fulfill a certain precondition given to them or prescribed to them by the herbalist. So what are we doing about the herbalist? Because most times they are guilty of some of these things. So if we arrest the young man for this particular offense, I think we should also arrest, these herbalists who give certain conditions that throw young men into some of these, dastardly acts.
So when you read such on our newspapers, you begin to wonder what happens to our good culture. Now, we just talked about, from the beginning of this segment, we talked about someone traveling from a faraway country coming to Africa just because of what an African
woman did for him.
Yes, now, okay, it tells you that then, 38 years back, Africa to this very man was known to be something different. Is it the same Africans that we can find, that this man who traveled all the way to come see this old woman, if he would travel today to meet me, would he see find me having such value like that old woman?
Is it the same Africa he left 38 years ago? I think, so, like I did mention, there's a drift, there's a recession in moral values. That is why some of these things are actually happening. And are we contending with banditry, insurgency, kidnapping, or we are going to be contending now with ritual killings and things like that?
So that's what we have today. And thank you very much, our listener and our viewer, for staying tuned. We'll be going for a short break. When we come back, it's going to be another full dimension of the same program. So I beg that you stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Pay attention, it starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. Some love. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way. It concerns you. Either kill law, either kill dreams, either land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your... Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here.
Thank you so much. I remain so excited knowing fully well that you are tuned to Unity 93.3 FM and TV. Yes, this is the segment with which we get to bring you away a topic so that we discuss. And afterwards, earlier on, that my guest for today's edition and topic for discussion is seated, and I have in the studio Honorable Ibrahim Dukuchili Balak, Honorable Member representing Irigwe-Rukuba constituency, Plateau State House of Assembly. He's seated, and we'll be looking at issues as it concerns political development in Plateau State. And if you don't mind, he will have to say another big good mornings to you, my listener, and of course, viewer. Good morning once again.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning, Plateau. Happy to be here again.
Yes, of course. Honorable is always happy to be here. And in the studio, I'm not alone. I have Mr. Shabodoro, in-house analyst and political scientist. He's still in the house, and so together we'll be doing this. If you don't mind, he too would want to say another big good morning to you.
Good morning, viewer and listener. Thank you for patiently staying tuned. And let me also confess, could be that the honorable member is looking smashing, in the dark suit and the black shoes to match. I think that's a fine combination, isn't it?
Yes, honorable. He looks younger by the day.
Definitely.
I don't know, maybe. I think I must confess, and I'm so interested in that. And so, if you want to be a part of this conversation already, those of you who would key to throw in your messages as SMS, you can do that through 0808 478 9999. Why am I giving you this at this early stage of the segment? That is because in most cases it will be when we are done and out of the studio that your messages will start coming in. And so please, if you want to do that, do help me and begin to find a way of picking your points and angle you want to address, and then begin to send them so that I'll be able to read them before we get done and get out of here. Thank you so much for being there. But for those of you who want to drop your comments on our Facebook page, you can just go Unity Radio FM/TV Jos. Drop your comments, and you even be live with us. You can also see us there on our TV. And thank you so much for being there. Now let's begin to set the ball rolling. And this one, it has to do with political development in Plateau State, Nigeria. So, what is your general assessment considering the leadership of PDP on the Plateau?
Thank you so much for having me again.
Thank you, sir.
Let me start by congratulating the Right Honorable Speaker, Moses Thomas Sule. He was being conferred by the title last week by the RI youth as Shirin Matasa. So I use this privilege to congratulate my leader.
Okay.
And so also I want to thank the people of Plateau State for supporting the party, and so also giving us the opportunity to be where we are today. And secondly, from your questions, let's assess the government in terms of stability of the economy.
Okay.
Things are being stabilized. If you check out, you see how the state is being calm. Things are moving in the right direction.
All right.
The PDP are doing very well.
Okay.
I want to assure the people of Plateau State to pray and just wait at least 1 year. They will begin to see the dividends of democracy. Yes.
Okay, at least 1 year. Okay, not 100 days in office. Okay, well, that is interesting. And so, recently we have also seen reports about judgment tribunal judgments, and so you may want to say one or two things around that too. Do you care to say something around that?
Yeah, let me give you the background of PDP in Plateau State.
Please, you're welcome.
We had Congress 2020 around August. The chairmanship was contested by 3 people, Mrs. Monica Gong, Honorable Bitrus Kaze, and Honorable Chris Hassan. Chris Hassan won the election. It's on national dailies. You can Google and find out. But Kaze took Chris Hassan to court. Battle Justice Gang ruled that we should go back and do a Congress again. After 1 year, it was around September 25th, another committee came from national level to conduct another congresses, only for the state A school. And Chris Hassan won the election again. And it was only him and Bitrus Kazi at that time. Mrs. Monica Gom did not participate. Chris Hassan won the election. You can Google and find out. There are videos online, unless you want to hide some things. And Bitrus Kazi congratulated Chris Hassan. I can even cut him from what he said after the congratulating message. Bitrus Kazi says, who lost the new chairman, congratulated Chris Hassan and said he will continue to support PDP. This thing is the Sun. It's a national day. I have committed myself for this party, and I will continue to work for this party because this is the party for Plateau people, he said.
This were, Bitrus Kazi.
I'm cutting him verbatim. And he said, I want to take this opportunity to commend the TUNTBE Caretaker Committee for the drastic measures to give us a free, fair congresses. I think this is the best caretaker the state has had. After all this, nobody take Chris Hassan to court again. Until after our primaries as candidate, one Augustine Tunku took my friends, my colleague, my close friend, Nanin Joseph to court. Because the new electoral act says 14 days after primaries you can take your opponents to court. So he used that window to take Joseph to court, to Federal High Court in Jos, saying that Plateau PDP
had no legal structure
to conduct primaries. And the Federal High Court threw that case out and said, if they don't have congresses, how did you participate? And it's their truth. He went ahead.
So he was also a participant.
He was a participant. He participated.
Because he
lost the primary.
And then he didn't know before then that the PDP had no structure.
Yes.
So he was actually participating also in a structureless party.
It's like he was being sponsored. So he went to appeal court, and the appeal court said no. They have discovered that the PDP, that is on the 11th February this year, the appeal court ruled that we have structures.
Okay, Honorable, sorry, let me just come in here.
Yes.
There's a call that your voice is barely heard by our listener.
You might need to be a bit louder.
Yes, you might need to speak up a bit. So that's just it.
Okay.
That's just it. So thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. As I was saying,
yes,
that this year we have a ruling by the appellant court that is 11th February this year, that the PDP have authentic structure, a solid structure.
Okay.
In the case between Augustine Tunku and Joseph Nani. Immediately we won the election. My opponent congratulated me. Most of them congratulated us.
From other parties,
other parties. After 2 weeks, before 2 weeks, that they are going to court. As if someone whispered to them that they have opportunity to collect the victory. They don't know that it's God that gave power. They went to court after congratulating some of us. They went to court. Now the tribunal says we don't have structure. The other tribunal is saying we have structure. You see confusion in this country. Same roof. Different people.
Yeah, the decisions to you feel is conflicting.
It's conflicting.
But do you think, Honorable Member Sir,
yes,
do you think the tribunal was, were you surprised when, Justice Tukul actually ruled in favor of your challenger?
Yes.
Were you surprised? Do you think something went wrong? You feel?
I was surprised because he even said it. My opponent said we have overvoting about 4 polling units. That is to tell you that they were confused. 3 of the polling units, he's the one that won it. It's not me. And you said it's overvoting. From the ruling, he said, I won the lawful votes, but we don't have a structure to sponsor a candidate. In the new electoral law, that is pre-election matter.
That was exactly what
that is
Justice
pre-election
Rotimi
matter.
actually predicated his judgment on.
And if only all these documents, all the grounds of all the PDP candidates were the same, I don't know why the Justice Tukur decided to turn his service the other way around and would give that judgment to the APC. I don't know. But I believe in the courts, and I know that the Appellant Court is going to give him a mandate, because I did not steal this mandate from anybody. The people gave me the mandate. And I believe man on earth will not tamper with it.
And you are still the 7 member.
I'm still the 7 member.
Okay. Yes, you are still, despite the recent court judgment, of course,
Yes.
you are still the 7 member. So, but how has this affected your performance? Has it in any way changed your orientations and aspirations and wills and drives to do anything you had in mind to do for your people?
Yeah, a little bit. There was a little distraction. I wanted to celebrate my 100 days in a very good way. But the first judgment from Tukur's side started weakening some of us. Because all of us that belongs to that side, we are called that this man, this is where he's going. So we were prepared. So what I wanted to do before the 100 days, I was not able to do it. But I'm still doing my work. Immediately we saw in, I applied for a junior secondary school in my village, which is very far. My people are suffering, they are out of school. So I applied for a junior secondary school around July, August. So just last week they called me that they want to go and inspect the place. It has been approved. So I'm still working.
Yes.
My people are still happy with me. And I believe the mandate will still be my own. In football, there is a technology that's being introduced.
They call it
VAR.
Video assistant
Yes,
referee.
is to check the errors, the human errors.
Definitely.
If you cannot see, the system will see.
Yeah,
it.
you see it in it.
So if Tukur cannot see the errors, the Appellant Court will see.
Which is the VAR.
It's the VAR. The VAR is in the Abuja.
Okay, so you already are saying that you believe in the capacity and the judgment yet to be decided or passed on by the next place of the Appellant Court, of course, as like you're saying. You believe whatever judgment that will come in the end, that's to you want to say, to you is okay.
It's okay for me. I was not born a member.
Okay.
And I'm a struggling person.
All right.
For me to reach this level, I'm grateful to God.
Okay.
It's not by force to be a leader. And if someone wants to force himself, let him force. But me, it's not by force.
Okay. So what should your people now keep expecting?
They should just pray and expect the positive outcome of the Appellant Court. I'm hopeful that we are going to come out strong. Some of us will believe in the court system. And that is why I said there are some errors that Tukur refused to see or did not see. The other people will definitely see it. There are cases that are the same format with our own. These are pre-election matter. You don't have the right to meddle in somebody's house activities. So I don't think the submission, maybe the submission, the documentation was not captured by Tukur. Maybe he misplaced some of the documents. But the good thing is that in our written address is being captured.
Okay.
We have a judgment by Appellant Court. Are they going to throw their judgment again? That will have structure. Are they going to throw it?
Has the appeal court, ruled at any point in time that the PDP had a valid structure? Yeah,
this year, February 11, between Augustine and Joseph Nani.
Okay.
Now, an APC person would actually say, there are also, a subsisting judgment against the PDP.
Let me
as
tell
far
you,
as this is concerned.
if you are a teacher and you are writing a textbook, you use recent references.
Not outdated ones.
Not outdated references. If Tukur is taking Aga's case as a reference, we're living this year, something that happened this year, February, you are not picking it as a reference, then there is a problem.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much. Again, let's come back to seeing what you have to say concerning your followers and people who believe in the fact that you are the winner and that you should continue to be in terms of peaceful coexistence. We've not seen anything to, regrettable, so to say, after the court decision was announced. And so, what would you love to say to your followers in case looking at the expected court judgment? So
and while you also seek redress in the appellate court.
Yeah, since the judgment, I have not been able to speak to my people on air. Okay, yesterday I was in PRTV, but the topic was different from this one.
All right.
And I want to tell them that they should remain calm, they should be law-abiding, they should respect the law, and again, they should be prayerful that by the grace of God, we are going to come out victorious. The good thing is that we did not force ourselves to serve our people. It's God that gave us the mandate, and I believe God is going to protect the mandate for us. The good thing is that I did not visit any herbalist during my campaigns. So I'm not afraid that the man is asking, maybe he may be asking me to give him some things that I refuse to pay. So, but the good thing is that I didn't visit any herbalist, I didn't visit any native doctor. I visited God on my knees, and I know He gave me the victory for a purpose. He's going to protect it. So my people should be calm. By the grace of God, I'm still a member. Yes.
Okay, very quickly, Honorable Member, truly, in your access, your constituency is been going through some, we've experienced some heats in terms of farmers and herders. It's a very sensitive issue, but of course we cannot shy away from wanting to say something so that we would sustain the relative peace being enjoyed and so. So would you like to say something on this also too?
Yeah, there was an attack in Uruguay, which is my constituency, my people. I was so worried after some months without any attack.
We thought it's over.
We thought it's over. I went there to greet them. I saw, you see, small children being killed. I was not happy. There is no leader that will be happy seeing his people killed. And I pray that the security should do the needful. Let me tell you, if the security want to do their job, all these things will stop. I'm not blaming anybody. We have a way of tracking all these things. There are calls that we can monitor. And even check out the community, the Uruguay axis. It's just how many kilometers to the barrack. And we even have a civil defense division in Jebu-Miango.
And there are also security personnel.
There are
military camps, stationed strategically.
Our security should do the needful. They can do it. Let me tell you, if you are looking at it, it's not your village as a security personnel. You don't know what is going to happen to you, your own village too. How can a soldier will be sitting here and say they did not give him order to do something? Okay, if they want to kill you, must you wait for order?
Because you won't.
You won't. Your duty is to protect the people. And I pray that the new GOC that's in town is going to work hard to see that things are resolved. Thank God the situation is calm. The Fulanis are moving around, and even the rebels are moving around without any attack. So we pray that it continues like this. Thank you so much.
Now, I remember, sir, the general, just a build up to, a follow up to the question he asked on peaceful coexistence and things like that. The general, you made reference to Uruguay, which is part of your constituency. Yeah. But generally, Plateau State as a whole, there have been attacks in parts of, the states, Mango specifically, and all of that. The House of Assembly, of which you're a member. Has there been any intervention on the part of the House?
There was no intervention from the part of the House, and I'm waiting for the governor. These things happened, he was not in town.
Yes.
I was able to pick the names of those people, the families that affected. I intend to meet him for assistance. I saw also for at least proper security arrangement for those areas.
Okay.
And I believe he's going to do it for us.
All right, and thank you so much, Honorable Member, for being here and for helping us get all of these things. Now, still talking about the need to sustain peaceful coexistence. What generally would you love to call the Plateau people to see how possible, if there's anything you want to say about the need to sustain peaceful coexistence? And I believe everybody who is on the Plateau, whether by birth, by coming in to settle, we are all from Plateau, and we belong, here to make sure we contribute to develop Plateau State. And so you may want to have a general call to everyone that is on the Plateau.
My general call is to be peaceful, united, and as I always said, that God cannot bless us until we are united. God cannot bless your family. You must be united with your wife before you receive the God blessings. I believe that unity is strength. And so unity attracts God blessings. If we want to have development in Plateau State, if we want to have progress as a people, we must embrace everyone. There are so many people that they were born in Plateau State. They don't even know their villages.
All they know is Plateau State.
All they know is Plateau
State, yes.
So their investment is there. So we pray that our people should be peaceful, and so that God will bless us as a people, and so that the development that we are yearning for will begin to experience it. Thank you so much.
Again, before we let you go, we still have some more time. You can answer one or two if time permits. It's still about, you said, I was so interested when you said investment is here, and now still about peace. Now, people tend to want to see forgiveness as a sign of weakness. So when you tend to you tilt towards the path of forgiving, and people say, oh, this one is a coward. He doesn't even, he's a betrayer. How should he forgive such a thing meted on him? So what's your take here? Do you tilt the path of forgiveness as one of those things we need to do?
You cannot ask your wife to forgive you or something, and you not ask your neighbor to forgive you. Same thing, you try to make sure you have a peaceful home. You should make sure you have a peaceful society, a peaceful community. Let me tell you, no matter how rich you are, if you don't have a peaceful society, a peaceful community, you will not even enjoy your money.
You can't, definitely.
You cannot even enjoy your money. I once begged my wife to, on my knees, telling her I'm very sorry. I did something. And does that thing change anything?
An African man that you are. In Africa, we're meant to believe that Africans, you don't
beg down and beg my wife because I know I offended her. And she forgive me, and the marriage is on. So if people of Plateau State want us to move as one, want us to have unity, and also have development, we should forgive ourselves.
Definitely.
We should forgive ourselves. The way you want your home to be peaceful, the community should be peaceful.
Also be peaceful.
So that we can move freely. Without the peace, you cannot enjoy democracy, you cannot enjoy development.
Now, Kuba, just in a minute or so. I mean, like you mentioned, there have been attacks and things. And I think before this recent attack or recent attacks, there have been some, period of peace, and orderliness. I mean, and order in that particular, part of the state. But then all of a sudden these attacks happened and everything, seemed to have actually regressed and all of that. Now, because I believe that the Fulani, the herdsmen, and the Irugu people there are people who have actually coexisted or had coexisted peacefully in the past. And I'm aware also that before these recent attacks, there had been some dialogues here and there that translated into the period of peace that we enjoyed before these interruptions. Now, as a member representing that part of the state, are you doing anything deliberate to probably, bring back dialogues and maybe restore relationships, or, there's no more hope for,
we have been doing a lot. I have one of the civil defense in charge of the division J.B. Miango is doing a very wonderful job.
Okay.
I forgot his name, but he's my very close man. He used to call me frequently. If anything that happened in that axis, he's the one updating me. This is what is happening. This we are doing this to see that we resolve. And I have been trying my best to see that we have meetings, we agree on some issues. There are some pocket of things that happen before the attacks. So as a leader, we are able to manage some of those things. Even offsetting some of the bills of some of the bills in the hospital for those people affected. So we don't want to blow some of those things. There are some things that happen before they are attacked. So we believe that we are doing our work, and the guys in J.B. Miango, the civil defense, the man is doing very well because he's updating me and even updating the TIC chairman. So and we are keep moving together. The other time we called all the RDOs and the chiefs and sat in one place and discuss the way forward. And that is why you see the things is becoming calm. So thank you so much.
Okay, that is lovely. I think it's about time we begin to face the truth, like always being all out to make sure the criminal amongst us, the criminal amongst any of these nationalities, ethnic nationalities, should be fished out and then face the fury of the law. Instead of the singular act of some few individual now is giving a coloration as if it's a whole of that ethnic nationalities that are involved in this criminal act. So it's not giving a very good picture. And so we want to believe. I think I'm a witness. I have seen lots of people. For the first time, let me say, I've seen the Fulani, trading, the marketing, just selling. I've seen it for a very long time. I've not seen this before. But in Mayango town, I've seen that. I was very happy. I've been there with drama, doing staging drama for peace for a very long time. I've been doing this, and then recently I saw them there, and I was very happy being part of all these things. And so we look forward to having a sustainable, peaceful coexistence, not only in Irigwe Chiefdom, but of course not only again on the plateau, but Nigeria as a whole. And so thank you very much for being there, Honorable.
Thank you so much.
We'll be going a very short break. When we come back, it's going to be time for our listener and our viewer to throw in their comments. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was saying things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune into Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's Been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.
I'm so happy again and again, knowing fully well that you are there, tuned to Unity 93.3 FM, and of course, Unity TV. Beatrice Adamu AG is my name, and in the studio this morning, we've been looking at developments as it concerns politics on the plateau. We have exceeded somehow. We would love to exceed plateau and see what happens in other states, but of course, time will let us do that, and so we are just looking at what is happening on the plateau. In the studio this morning is been Shabu Doro, an in-house analyst and political scientist, and again our main guest today has been Honorable Member representing Rukuba Irigwe constituency in the State House of Assembly, Plateau State, of course. And so we've been looking at all these developments, and now is about time for our listener and our viewer to calling, and then we get to hear from you. Remember that you need not to confront our guest or any member of Unity or FM for any reason, and so you do well to stick to the vision of promoting peaceful coexistence, and that is what we tolerate on Unity Training. So if you want to do that, the line to join us remains the studio line 07032353315. You just tell me your name, where you are calling us from, and also remember that comments made on this platform, they are not in any way the position of Unity 93.3 FM. And so you may begin now. In a minute, just tell me your name and where you're calling from. And at the moment, it's very possible that you want to throw in your comments on our Facebook page, and that you can go Unity Radio FM/TV. Just you'll be with us live on Facebook. Let's begin to have our callers. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Good morning. This is Yakubu Sale calling from Kayatarwa.
Yakubu Sale, it's good to have you. Please, you have a minute. Go on.
Thank you so much. The just has spoken very well.
All right, you're welcome.
And the measures is taking is very, very commendable.
All right.
So the need to maintain a peaceful coexistence can never be overemphasized. And there are some minor things that we need to consider to make sure that we move ahead, to join our hand and we live in peace. And we need to avoid some things.
All right.
And the measures is taking is very, very good.
Okay.
And sometimes showing discrimination, and other things are even bringing us backward instead of improving us.
Yes.
Like you just mentioned yesterday, the issue of what is your tribe, what is your religion, we keep emphasizing on that, forgetting the problems we are facing. And there is something that is happening. Sometimes somebody may unite an indigenous in a particular state, and he goes to a different state. So if he gets an indigenous and he becomes somebody, he may be perfect to that state that he unite an indigenous.
Yes.
So tell me, what will he do? Especially like in army and police.
Yes.
So somebody in the same plateau state, he tried to get an indigenous, he was not given. He looked for an indigenous in a different state. So he got an NDA. When he passed out as a second lieutenant, he called people to celebrate with him, and he called the same thing that denied him, that refused to sign him. So he said, because he is my father, I called him to celebrate with me. That person, he wanted to bury himself in shame. So he started blaming the devil. So when can we start blaming the devil? Because this devil, we were told that the devil is our enemy.
Thank
you. Please, we should face the reality and unite ourselves. Thank you, Mr. Kudi.
Thank you very much, Yakubu Hassan. Yakubu Hassan is that one person who he's very emotional, but of course will always manage his words, very careful, meticulous in his choice of word. And thank you very much. When will we stop blaming the devil?
Yeah, we always say it's
the devil. Hello, good morning. I'm fine, and it's good to have you. Who am I on with, please?
I'm calling from Job.
Okay, your name is Lowell?
I'm welcoming to the House of Assembly from Upper.
Yes, Irigwe. Okay. All right.
You don't know that leadership is from God.
Yes, it's from God.
Whatever
All right.
But they said that it's going to the appeal court. Whatever the appeal court decides, he will accept it.
He will accept
So that's
it.
what we need for
Thank you very much.
Nigeria.
Thank you.
And we will therefore elect you, whether you vote you or not vote you, by the time that you become a leader, then you carry everybody along. And I hear what you said about the people that are living in Tafe, that they have many tribes there, they want to accommodate them together.
Yes.
And it's a good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling to accept whatever court judgment becomes in the end. And this one is coming from Bright Awu Daniels. He say the media friendly member. Oh, he's just saying thank you. He's proud of you, honorable member Bright Awu. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you very much. Who is on with me this morning?
Yes, I'm calling from Gabon.
Okay, your name again?
The Prince Daniel.
All right, it's good to have you. So you have a minute. You can go on, please. You can go on. Please go on. Yes, go on, please.
Okay, this is Daniel calling from Gabon.
Please, I know. You have a minute, please. Go on.
Quite unfortunate. I thought maybe the member would have skipped that of issues of the gossip to include and the other person. But since he chose to talk about it, I think the fortunate thing there is that the court, the appellate court, I think it declined jurisdiction to such issue. But since he chose to talk about it, I think that is just by the way. Then the issue, talking about the issue of secondary school in the Isanchi, as he talked about, I think the fortunate thing there is that we have so many secondary schools in Rukuba Chiefdom which needed attention. Manpower are not there, but yet I don't think it's out of place for you to still introduce a junior secondary school where other ones do not even have manpower. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, our personnel to mount the already existing ones there. Okay, the honorable member will definitely respond to that in due time. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, guest in the house. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Who is with me this morning? Oh, I think we lost her, and I feel it was a lady. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you very much. Who is with me this morning?
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Sadiq Umar. I'm calling from TT&T Junction.
Okay, Sadiq Umar, you have a minute.
Yeah, I will comment your guest. You have spoken very, very well. And let me start by the issue of peace. Okay. Actually, peace is the number one priority that brings every development in every community or a state. And actually, we are calling on the people to make sure that we tolerate the living of each other in our community so that we'll have peace. And we are also recommending the present government in terms of its move in making sure that the two states have enjoyed the peace have been. And no matter how the government is trying its best in making peace, we the people are the ones that will decide to live in peace. Because if our bad ones have been used, that's where we get it wrong. So it is very, very good one that we experience peace not only in Irugueland but in Plateau State at large.
Yes.
And lastly, we want to comment on the issue of structure that your guests have been spoken. Actually, it is very, very clear by the declaration of the court that there is not any doubting about PDP have structure or not. Because if the court have already made it, it's already law that already PDP have already have structure. It will be a wonder if PDP will be out in the previous part local government election because of structure. Do you think that PDP will fold its hands to come to this time of election? It is a pre-election matter. So I think PDP have already made itself very, very clear and bring up its candidacy on a very, very good structure recognized from the national level and even in the state level.
All
so
right,
we are calling on the people of Plateau State, irrespective of the political party,
thank you very much,
to operate with the government so that they will get it right. Because it's not time for politicking, it's time for governance.
Yes,
I think
yes.
if we give the governors the good cooperation, we'll get it right. And politics is all about the laws, the loser, and the we should all take it by faith. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you very much for calling. Okay, on our Facebook page, this one is coming from Ismail Isa. I say, good morning, gentlemen of the press. Good morning, Honorable. Thank God Almighty, you emerge as a member House of Representative. Perhaps now you have all the chances, all the time and the political will to help your people. That gives you this wonderful mandate. Please do everything possible to set a good legacy that your people can testify you have done something tangible to remember you as a good representative. Thank you. Asobagun Francis say, good morning, gentlemen. The Honorable Balak Member State Assembly, life challenges is part of humility and not humanity, and no one is immune. May our democracy be sustained, Plateau State be rebuilt, our attitudes be changed for good, our sentiments be genuine, and our policies should not be anti-masses and exonerated the rich. Muhammad Tajuddin saying, good morning, gentlemen in the studio. I wish the honorable member all the best in his court case, and you should remember that it's God that brought you to these positions, and you will stay there for 4 years or even more if he so wishes. So stay calm, Muhammad Tajuddin from Naragoda. Thank you. And this one is coming from Ahmadu Haruna Mazu. Say Unity trained student Haruna Ahmad Muazu from Yanshanu. The in-house guest that has spoken very well. So I keep on doing the needful. Secondly, today has been marked as the World Poverty Eradication Day, but 80% of Nigerians were still living in poverty. Why? Because of bad leadership and followership. May God save us. I say amen. Leadership and followership. Thank you, Unity trained students. And this one is saying interactions with constituents is an integral part of leadership. Honorable Ibrahim Abalak is living above expectations with respect to that. The polity is in their need of people with your style of leadership, people who are willing to talk to their followers without coercions, wishing you success always. This one is from Murtala Yahaya Maigia. Good morning to you all, Kubi, and thank you so much for being there. Now we may pick one or two, and then we'll
hello, Mr. Kubi.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kubi.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And the guest in the studio.
You're welcome.
This is Adewumi from Bokiro.
Okay, Adewumi, you have a minute. Please go on.
Thank you very much. We'll continue to bless you.
Amen. Amen.
You see, on the plateau, we need to maintain an environment of
all right.
Not for any reason, but just for the comfort of ourselves. Because if we don't live in peace, whatsoever peace cannot give you, there is nothing that war, conflict, or any argument can never do. So it's high time we allow peace to always coexist among us. But my major take is I want to ask you, why is it not possible for us to find those that take cases to court when they do not know the outcome of the case? I don't know, maybe you can get my question.
Okay.
Maybe they should pay a form of compensation. If the NAPC now said PDP did not have a structure and it's a pre-election issue, why can't the court now find such issues? Because those type of issues are not supposed to be coming up. You understand? That's just my major question.
All right.
Is it possible that they can be fined so that at least our politicians can do the needful, even after election results, so that they can assess the peace and give the citizens peace of mind? Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Deomi. SMS, this one say, good morning, Kobe, Doro, honorable and intelligent listeners and viewers. Patience, tolerance, and forgiveness are among the good attributes of Prophet Muhammad. May God enrich us with such attributes, accept our worship, and grant us all blessed, filled with happiness. contentment, and forgiveness. Amen. Hassan Garba, thank you very much for always praying for us. And this one is coming from saying, good morning, sir, and your guest. Thank you so much for be there, giving us hope to keep moving. Thank you all. Please, I have a word for Honorable if given the opportunity by him. Okay, but you don't even send your name, so I don't know who. Okay, my brother, good morning. Okay, all right, thank you. I think that's the much we can take for SMS here, and then we'll let the honorable member to respond. I think it's time to begin to respond to some of these calls.
Where should I respond?
Well, there's this question actually.
Someone that said logging a secondary school to my village is not important. I don't know why it's not important that even the ones on ground don't have teachers. I know where the government is targeting.
Okay.
I know the government is going to do employment for the educational sector.
Okay.
We are allowed to employ. For him to even say that the ones on grounds are not well.
No personnel to
manage. I don't blame him. To me, to my village, to my people in the village, are so happy about it. And the villages surrounding my village are happy about it.
Okay.
If you know where I'm coming from, I used to, from my village to junior secondary school, Binchin, in those days, it's about 5 kilometers. We trek from my village to Binchin. There was not the secondary school in Binchin, it was senior secondary school. The senior secondary school was in Zagun. We used to trek from Kisenchin to Zagun. I was in Government College Ingrid. From Government College Ingrid, I left Government College Ingrid in SS2. So I came back to Zagun, and I was staying in the village. My dad have a bicycle, that was what I was using to go to school. And the day the bicycle cannot take me to Zagun, I will trek from the village. I have to trek. And if today someone sitting in Zagun saying that people in Kisenchin don't need a secondary school, then I think he needs to think on what he said.
And honorable members, you might also need to let him know that it's not within your power to employ teachers. It's the state government that does.
Thank God he knows.
As a lawmaker, you can't go and employ teachers.
I cannot employ teachers.
You can't employ teachers.
Well, he wants me to employ teachers and put in the secondary school.
But of course, there is an issue. Of course, you need to also, thank God you're pointing it out now that you trust that the state government will have to do some employment. Yes. And then you know that is why probably you choose to.
My brother, if you see the number of dropped out in my village, it's a thing of concern.
Okay, we have just 5 minutes to be out of here.
There was a private school in my village, private secondary school. One man from Jebubasa introduces a private secondary school, but he was not able to manage it. The school fees was too high for the student to pay. And now I'm not lobbying a secondary school to my village, government secondary school. You are saying it's not important, and you are speaking English.
Yes, I think it's just the fact that he also, the ones that are already there, we look into that as well.
He might just be setting an agenda for them. He might just be saying that, well, if he said it's not important, I think that might not be acceptable. But but if he is actually saying there's a need to also do something to sort of equip the already available, existing ones, it might just be something you probably need to take up as a lawmaker.
If I would tell you that we have before we have a private secondary school, you should know that the village needs a secondary school.
Yes.
There was a man, the man is an Idoma man. He was running a private school in my village. But because of the school fees, our people cannot pay, cannot afford. And I said, let me use this opportunity to apply for the secondary school, government secondary school in my village. Let me give you the insight. The first student that will enter that school, I will be the one to pay their school fees.
The first set of students?
The first set of students.
Regardless of their number?
Yes. I will pay their school fees for the whole year. Because I know my people are left behind.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. Any other thing, Mr. Domi talked about?
Somebody said something about finding, aggrieved candidates of opposition parties who might want to make issues out of nothing. I think that's what Adeomu was saying. He was saying that maybe the law should find ways to sort of impose fines or punish people who, well, probably feels that the other party challenging you doesn't actually have a case.
How can you congratulate someone and the next day you take him to court?
But it's within their legal rights to do that.
They have the legal right to do that.
All right. Thank you.
And maybe just to let Adewumi know.
Yes,
I'm aware that Nintawe has been fined 50 million.
The governorship.
So maybe,
the governorship, the judgment governorship election tribunal. They fined the APC 50 million. Why? Because that is a pre-election matter. And even the lawyers, let me tell you, these lawyers is their market time. They are just making money. They know it.
Okay.
Let me tell you, they know it. There's no lawyer that will tell you that you have a bad case. Every lawyer will tell you you have a good case. You have a good case because he wants to collect some allowances
and stay in business.
That is their peak period. So they are making a lot of money.
All right. Thank you very much, honorable member. And now, what would you love to say, even as we cap up on this today's edition of Unity Train?
So I want to thank the Unity FM for giving me the opportunity again to hear my view, to speak to my constituent, and so also to greet the people of Plateau State. I know so many people are listening to us.
Yes.
They should continue to pray for the state. I'm not forcing myself to serve. If the Upland Court today says I'm not the rightful owner, I will step down and I will continue my business. I want to use this opportunity again to appreciate my mentor, my leader, Honorable Chris Hassan.
All right.
Has been a wonderful person. He brought innovation into the party. From nowhere, a sitting governor was defeated. He cannot go to Senate. Not only a sitting governor, he was the chairman of Northern Governors Forum. He cannot win election. They want to use the back door to collect the election. God is not going to allow it by the grace of God. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you so much, honorable member, for coming to the studio. Dora, I want to believe you have some parting words today. Since time allows us, why don't you say one or two things, even as we call it a day for this edition?
God bless Plateau State, Colby, and just to also, build up on your, usual call for peace and things like that. Let's stay in peace, regardless of whatever differences we might be having. Plateau has to be peaceful for us to be able to make progress as a people.
Yes, thank you so much, Doro, for always being here, even as the producer, and then still taking that position as the in-house analyst and being here, just doing your research and coming on to give it us. Appreciate it. Honorable member, once again, we say thank you. You have heard it from people saying you're one of those who would always come on air to speak to your people.
Yeah.
They really comment that, and I'm a witness to that.
Definitely.
You've been here in my presence like 3 times already.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my, this is commendable. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, our listener and our viewer. We have gradually, with you, of course, come to the end of today's edition of Unity Train. I'm so glad. Tomorrow is going to be another beautiful day. We beg that you will keep your dial locked to Unity 93.3 FM and, of course, Unity TV. You cannot afford to throw away the desire to live in peace with yourself and your neighbor. Do have yourself a lovely day. Bye-bye.
You could see it from the moon. It's crazy you have a bodyguard, Mr. Politician, to protect. It's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.